Hello everyone, thank you for the warm welcome. So as you may notice, my beard is not even for a junior, but I have mustache, so. My name is Egor, but I don't know where is my presentation. Come on, hello, presentation. Oh, okay. Where? Okay. No, it's okay. My name is Egor, and together with my teammates from Big Orange Moldova family, we are trying to solve the problem of digital transformation for more than 10 companies all around the world using robotic process automation. And the first question to you, have you heard about RPA technologies before? Just raise your hand if you did, besides my orange colleagues, obviously. Nice. Okay, so today, let's try to make a deep dive and to understand what is RPA in depth and how we managed to adopt it to become a successful project, but not a trap and a fuck up for our company. And I will start with the explanation. So R stands for robotic. I'm personally not a big fan of the word robotic here, because the first impression is that we are building some real robots with legs and hands doing some stuff, which is not true. It's not true. RPA is about the software. And for those who think that robot army looks like this, it actually in our case looks like this. And robots are focused on bringing the benefits, not a disaster. Now, what kind of processes RPA is able to automate? So the main focus is on the redundant, highly repetitive, less meaningful processes, but with some prerequisites behind. And the first one is stable logic, or as we called it, role-based. So in other words, if an employee is executing his task day by day, and 80% of all the steps he is executing are the same for every single transaction, this is a good candidate for robotic process automation. Next one, high volumes. The higher are volumes for one specific task or process, the higher could be potential benefits behind. And the third one, digital. Since we know the RPA is a software, we need digital inputs and we can generate only digital outputs. So that means that robots are really good in calculations, for example, but they are not able to carry on some laptops and to bring them to another building. So now we know what kind of processes we are able to automate, but where to find them. And now I will tell you about the business areas RPA likes the most. I will start with the finance. Why finance? Because here we have standardized accounting transactions almost all around the world. We have stable ERP applications. We have straightforward calculations. So this area is one of the best for RPA adoption. Next one, customer service. Again, we have customer requests and complaints coming to our CRMs, our ticketing systems with a straightforward flows. We know how to extract the information and how to design the robots to process those requests like in minutes. Next one, human resources. And here we can start even from the onboarding routine, filling the necessary work orders or requests for the new employees, and ending up even with the overtime forms calculation. No problems for RPA. Next one, IT. And here we can start with the operational routine, with live monitoring of alerts and incident management, because robots never get tired. Also system administration activities, scripting, and so on. Reporting. This area is one of the most important for the RPA discovery, because reporting teams are operating with huge amounts of data, data verifications, data aggregation, data filtering. So all those activities are just like peanuts for RPA bots. And sales. Well, for the front sales, there are not so much space for RPA, but in after sales, like inventory management activities, you may find some processes, some good candidates for RPA. Okay, Now, the last word is about automation. And what kind of setups do we have in RPA? So we have three, the most commonly used setups. First one and the most popular one is unattended. So in this case, robots are installed on a separate environment on dedicated servers, and they have direct access to the applications where all the actions are happening. Why this setup is the most useful is because the intervention after deployment is like minimal. Everything we have is separate service of the robots which are running and executing the necessary actions. Next one, attended, and here we have completely different scenario. We have a robot which is installed on the employee's workstation or PC, and it's more like virtual assistant helping him to do his manual repetitive tasks during the day. And the third one, and you may guess what is this, is the hybrid model. So here we have still robots installed on the dedicated servers, but the most important decisions are taken by the humans in the loop. Okay, but before the RPA adoption, the first question your CIO or CFO will ask you is, what are the benefits? And the first and most important benefit why RPA is being adopted across many companies around the world, it's fast time to market. And it was proven also by my colleagues and by other experts in the world that we can deliver a stable automation in like 30-40 days. Next one is zero error rate. So RPA bots are never interacting with the element or a button or a control on the screen if it's not 100% matching the searched element. So zero chance. The execution is always stopped, so we have zero error rate on the activities which are not present on the screen. Next one, highly secure. Since RPA is a software, robots never expose their passwords or any sensitive data to the third party. And this is highly securely compliant. Productivity. Robots have no overtimes. They are working 24/7 in weekends. So the availability here is like fully 24/7. And the last, but still very important, they are saving working hours. And here we're talking not only about the financial savings. Here we are creating the space for the humans to concentrate on more meaningful tasks, to find the space to invent new processes and to optimize the customer experience in the end. Okay, but to deliver all those benefits, RPA should have some significant capabilities behind. And let's talk about the capabilities as well. Okay, the first one and the most known about RPA is that robotic process automation is able to manipulate the user interface. So this leads us to the two next things is manipulation with the desktop, both desktop and web applications, based on the triggering hardware events, just like a human user does, with the mouse clicks or keyboard typing. Now, next, we are able to use all kinds of APIs with RPA. We also are able to integrate like clean code, for example, C#, custom components when it's necessary. XAML is also not a problem. Querying database, relational databases, absolutely not an issue. Using different optical character recognition engines is one of the features of RPA. And all of that is forming a big library of reusable components which is in constant growth and development by RPA community. So this is everything available for the implementation. Now, you may ask me, since we touched the technical aspect of the solution, how the RPA development lifecycle looks like. And everything starts with the process discovery, as you may understand. Once the processes are discovered and your automation pipeline is ready, the next step is to do proper business analysis to design the specification. Next one, you need to make sure your infra is ready to deploy the robots. Then the development comes in. Once the development is finished and robots are designed according to the specifications, you may guess what is the next stage. Yeah, this is the testing and quality assurance. And then, once we have the user acceptance testing signed off, we have the deploy. But this is not all about RPA development lifecycle, because after that we have an important phase which is called hypercare, because for complex processes we need to make sure that all the business requirements are met and robots are running according to the specifications. And this is dependable of complexity of the process, I mean the period of hypercare. And then we can just take a look at the benefits and doing life management, optimization, doing change requests, or fixing small bugs in case of any, of course. So, now, to bring this development lifecycle to life, we need a team. And I will share with you how our team in Orange Moldova looks like. So the main guy is RPA Delivery Manager, and we have RPA PM, RPA Business Analyst who are delivering the documentations, RPA Architect who is responsible for the infrastructure setup and configuration, then Technical Leader and his developers who are delivering the automations. But what is really important with this governance model of RPA is the communication with the business players. And I will start with the business units and RPA ambassadors. So RPA ambassadors are basically leaders of business units who are contributing in generation the RPA pipeline. IT team. This is really important to make a strong communication with your IT team, to have proactive notifications about the updates and upcoming modifications in your applications. Otherwise, your robots will just fail after the next update. And, of course, security team. Since all the RPA bots are like just real users, there is a need to have a security acceptance on every single access to every single application. Moreover, if we are talking about the personal and sensitive data. Okay, the methodology for this delivery model from our experience and our perspective is Agile and Scrum, because it's really comfortable to work in sprints. Now, since RPA is a really new technology, there are some myths to talk to you about, and maybe we will be able to break the strongest ones together with you. So, the first, RPA bots just cannot be stable. And here the answer is actually the following. Like with all other IT developed products, it's all about the quality. So, take the best-in-class technology, take the best-in-class team, and you will have stable robots. Next one. RPA is not able to handle complex use cases. And this one sounds really strange to me, personally, because RPA is actually designed to integrate completely different systems. For example, for big companies which are still staying on legacy and 20 years old applications and modern CRMs somewhere in cloud. So this is exactly the capability of RPA to integrate those two systems in the fastest time to market possible. So this myth completely is not true. And last but not the least is about the classic IT automation is better than RPA or vice versa. It's not important the order. But again, with this myth, I'm not really sure, because RPA and IT automations have different scope and way of implementation. And RPA is rather an assistant for classic IT automation to let business still generate benefits while IT is prioritizing his roadmap and making space for the whole end-to-end automation, which you know for sure may take even years to automate two different systems. Or we can mention here legacy systems. It's really hard to refactor everything and to migrate the huge clients database. So this is rather a helpful tool than a competitor. Now, from the theory, I would like to go to some real examples and to present to you one use case which we delivered to one of our partners recently. And this process is called Know Your Customer. So for those who are not familiar, Know Your Customer process exists almost across all the companies where customer identification process takes place. And in our case, the customer journey starts from the identification based on ID card. So an ID card of a customer is sent via WhatsApp to a chatbot for the identification and subscription to the services. Then from the chatbot, this information, ID card, vice versa, and recto and verso face are sent to RPA. RPA is extracting all the necessary information about the customer, such as name, surname, date of birth, card ID, and then the customer database is being updated. So looks pretty easy, but what was the final output of this process? So for our client, the manual process looked like this. They had more than 100 back office agents working only on QoC use case. And after the RPA adoption in their company, we managed to reduce this number only to 10 agents who were verifying the outputs of the robots, and all other agents were able to go back to their direct responsibilities of treating customer requests and doing these support activities. So, what was the technical stack used for the QoC use case? Know Your Customer, short QoC. So, we started, as you remember, with a chatbot in GS. Then we integrated the WhatsApp API for the OCR module to digitalize the image. We were using the Google Vision OCR. For the RPA software to simulate human actions in the CRM and all the systems, we are using UiPath. C# custom components were used by our team to optimize and pre-process the images. And we also use some regular expressions to manipulate with the strings outputs. Okay, here you may ask me how the RPA code looks like. So as most of the classic programming languages, we do have statements, we do have conditions, Boolean logic, we do have loops and tools to iterate the arrays, collections, dictionaries, and so on. We are also able, as I told you, to inject the clean code. It may be C#, Python, it may be Visual Basic.NET. And we also are able to use the power of LinQ or Lambda expressions in our projects. Good, this was for the technical part of the RPA. But who are the main players on the RPA market from the tools perspective? I will start with UiPath, as we were using it for almost all our processes. So UiPath was founded in early 2005 in Romania. So it's our neighbor, we can say. And this company had a long journey to become a really top RPA player in the world. But already in 2020, it was named Forbes AI 50. And capitalization for this year was around $7 billion. What is really important here, but this is important for Moldova and Orange Moldova as well, is that we here as Orange Moldova and Orange Systems, we have gold partnership with UiPath, meaning that we have strong communication and insights about the new products and features released and developed in early stages. So who are the companies using UiPath robots? We'll start with Google, who developed a lot of integrations, not only from UiPath perspective, but also from Google perspective. We have a lot of connectors between those two technologies to be able to use tools like Google OCR directly from the UiPath scripts. We also have NASA. Okay, here is interesting that RPA robots are not serving the rockets which are flying, but they are solving some office stuff, some printing, some back office activities, some letter sending. So it's pretty simple, but pretty efficient. Spotify And here we know that Spotify exposed some interesting use case of generating personalized playlists using RPA bots. And also, I put here Orange, but it's not only about Orange Moldova, it's also about the whole Orange group who are using the RPA bots almost for every affiliate. Next one. Also a well-known player of RPA Market is Automation Anywhere. It was also founded in early 2000s, in 2003, and had a long journey to establish his name in the list of RPA leaders. But in 2020, it was named Forbes Cloud 100, which is really shows us the capabilities. The annual revenue for 2020 was around $30 million, and the last investment in this technology was done in the last month, and the amount was $20 million, which is really significant for such a technology as RPA. So who are the players? Who are the users for Automation Anywhere? McAfee Protection Software is using RPA bots from Automation Anywhere. Dell hardware and software producers, Coca-Cola, and even Puma. So you may notice that different businesses are applying RPA bots in different business areas to bring the benefits on the surface. The next one. So I was showing you the companies with a significant history behind, but what about the new players on RPA market? And here I'll introduce you the Power Automate, which was released by Microsoft in 2016. The former name for Power Automate is Flow. So already in 2022, this year, it was named by Gartner as an RPA leader. And the return of investment for the clients who are using the Power Automate flows is almost 200% over 3 years. And what is also really important that they managed to save around 30K of worker hours only for the last year. So companies who are using the MS Power Automate are T-Mobile, Siemens Mobile, AECOM Consulting Company, and also Orange Group decided this year to adopt MS Power Automate as a second solution on the level of a group. Okay, now since I told you about how the RPA works, I want to go back to what we are doing here in Orange Moldova and what we actually delivering. So we managed to deliver more than 270 automated processes. We became the first and single UiPath partner in Moldova. And those 270 processes are generating more than 10K working hours saved only for the last year for our clients. We are still mastering and gathering knowledge for consultancy in RPA, RPA academies and trainings, infrastructure setup, business analysis, and obviously RPA development. So for those of you who are interested in the full list of our achievements, I will leave a QR code here so you can scan it and to see the full list of what we have delivered. And in case you have any questions, please address them and I will be glad to answer. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Let's proceed with the questions. Can we turn on the microphone, the second one?
One. Oh. Do you hear me? Yeah. Hi.
Hi.
Nice speech and very interesting topic.
Thank you.
So my question is, do you use attended or unattended RPA type? And do you do some logs for what the robot did?
Very good question. Thank you for this. Yes, the main focus for Orange Moldova and for the companies to whom we are delivering the services is unattended automation, as I told, because with unattended automation we can produce the maximum benefits. Since with the attended automation it's quite complicated because we cannot make sure the person in place is using the full capability of automation because it's his own decision to use the bot or not. So about the logs, every single activity is logged from technical and business perspective, we are also able and capable to modify any kind of logs, but we introduced a lot of logging logic inside our bots to track all kinds of benefits besides the technical logs which are generated by default from the system. So every single activity is properly logged, and in case an audit is necessary, it can be performed on every single process. Not an issue. Thank you.
Yeah. More questions.
Hi, Egor. Thank you for
Hello.
sharing. I have a question. If we are stepping back to your workflow, automated workflow with JSBot, JSBot, OCR, and extracting the info, how do you handling the exceptional case when, for some reasons, they're not extracting or extracted not very well?
Okay, understood. Really good question, because treating the exceptions in RPA is one of the most important actions to be taken. So we are using a specific development framework which segregates the output types into different states. One is success, obviously. The second one is business exception, and the last one is application exception. The difference between those two is that business exception is something well expected, and we know the cases when it's happening, and the application exception is a handled exception, basically. So for the cases which are properly logged, and we know that robot is not capable to treat this specific case, we have a specific flow with a ticket dispatch to the human agents to take care of this case and to make it successful. But for the application use cases, we are using the instant alerting and incident management system to immediately be aware of what happened wrong with the robots and how we can fix it.
Sorry, we don't have time for questions, but anyway, Egor will be here, so we can ask him during the lunch break. So let's applause for Egor.
Thank you. Merci.